In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use Claude Design. This is Anthropic's newest update, and it basically lets you describe what you want in the web interface, and it turns into professional finished designs. But the first time you open it, it can still feel overwhelming, so I'll walk you through how everything works and show you a few specific examples so you can start using it right away. So to use it, you can just log into your Claude account, and then open up the side panel here, and just go to Design. And there are four main tabs here. There's Prototype, Slide Deck, you can create your own template, and in the other tab is where you can start a new project or create your own design system. And on the right hand side here, you can see your recent projects, your designs. You can check out the examples here. So these are the different things that you're able to design. For example, this is the text particle effects. So if you use this prompt, you get an output like this. And we can scroll down. These are just the different examples of what Anthropic can do. You can design a sign-up flow for a mobile app. You can do the text streaming effects. And when you scroll down, you'll see the other examples. So it's a really cool design tool, but let me show you a few more practical use cases. So let's come back here to the left-hand side and click on Slide Deck. So the first use case I think is really practical is that you could create your own slide deck. So let me just name this Slide Deck example. And let's click on Create. So for the slide deck example, if you have any design system, screenshot, or any references, you can share them here. But for this example, what I'll do is I'll just grab some information on this web page about Claude Design. So I'll just grab this link of this web page, and I will come back here, just paste the link here. And I will just say to Claude, extract information from this website and create a professional slide deck with the information. And let's hit send. And then you'll see that it's fetching the article. It generates the outline. And for the aesthetic, it's following the same style of the last slides that I generated. And obviously you can always change this. And then in about 2 minutes, this slide was generated. And then here we have the design. And as you can see here, there are a total of 17 slides. So I basically just took this website and then provided to Claude and then told Claude to create a slide deck for the information on the website. So it took the information on the website, organized all the information, and then created this whole slide deck in just a couple of minutes. So I think this is really useful. So if you are someone who creates slide decks, this one is a really good starting point. And let's say if you want to edit anything, you can always just come here to click on Edit. You can edit the background, the font size, and let's say if there's anything on the screen you want to change. Since this is code-based, you can literally just change anything from here. So making changes is really easy. And let's look at the rest of the slides. So this will save you a lot of time in terms of creating these slides. So I think this is one very practical use case. And you can also come here to tweaks. And let's say if I want to, can you make this slide animated? And let's hit on send. And then it's going to add these slide entry animations to every slide. Okay, so here we have the animated version of the slide. Let's look at this. So here's the animation tweaks. So let's say if we could do slow, we could replay this. So it has this slow rise effects. Let's look at the next one. So adding the animation to the slides makes it a little bit more engaging. And let's say if you want to export this, you can just come here to click on share. And then you can export this as a PDF or as a PowerPoint slides. You can send to Canva, or you can export as standalone HTML. And you also have the option to hand off to Claude Code. So these are all the options when you want to export. So let's come back here to the main screen and let's click on Other. And let's name this project Motion Graphics Example. And let's click on Create. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to the Claude Opus 4.7 article and scroll down to this chart here. That shows the statistics of the different models of Claude. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screenshot this. I'm going to come back here to the motion graphics example, paste this screenshot in, and I'm going to say, can you create a motion graphics that illustrates the data provided? The different AI models should be in different colors, so we can visually see the differences between the models. So let's go with that and let's hit send. And let's see what it's going to come up with. And then it's going to create the motion graphics to illustrate the benchmark data. So first it's looking at the image to understand the data, and then it's going to plan the animation. And it's going to build the intro, it's going to have the model introduction, the benchmark raise, and then the summary. So here we have the output. Let's take a look. 5 models, 12 benchmarks, meet the models, and here are the different models. So it generated this animated bar graph to describe all the ratings across different models. And if you want to turn on the tweaks panel, we can just turn this on and they'll be able to, let's say, adjust the background tone. And also the animation speed. So the next use case that I'm going to talk about is that you could use Claude Design to design your app prototype. So next, let's come back out here and let's go to prototype. And let's just type in prototype, example. And let's go with high fidelity and let's click on create. Let's come down here and let me say, can you create me a beautiful designed mobile fitness app? And let's go with this prompt. And it's going to ask me a few questions here on the right hand side. What's the app's primary focus? Let me go with habit and activity tracking, aesthetic direction. Let's go with bold and energetic. Which screen should I design? Let's go with the home screen. Device frame, let's go with iOS. How interactive? Let's go with clickable prototype. Do you want visual variation? I'll go with yes. And for the rest, let me just go with decide for me and let's see what it's going to generate. Click on continue. And then it's going to start building. Okay, so here we have the result. That took about 4 to 5 minutes. And let's see. So here we can have the tweaks. So if you want different color theme, density, let's say compact would be smaller. Let's go with spacious. Time of the day, morning, afternoon, evening. Accent overrides, and you can change this color. And this is the mobile app prototype. And let's go with the next tab here. There's stats, there's plan, there's profile tab. So this looks pretty clean as the first generation of the mobile app. So this is another really practical use case, is that you could use this to generate the prototype of your mobile app. And the last thing that I want to talk about with Claude Design, it's the usage limits. So you can come here to Claude and go to settings. And let's go to usage. And then you'll see that Claude Design actually uses its own limits. So Claude Design has its own usage limits and it's separate from the others models limits, as you can see here. And this resets every week. So for me, it's Saturday at 10 p.m. So that's something that's really important to know, is that Claude Design has its own usage limits. And that's it for this video. That is how you use Claude Design. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Hope to see you in the next one.